I have 10 interview questions. Somebody sent to me. She said she went for this interview, but unfortunately, she did not pass. The questions are really much, but they are not hard. You can say something. So I have 10 of them, which I'm going to read out before we start providing answers. Number one, can you describe how you ensure that residents receive person-centered care? Number two, how do you manage and respond to complaints or concerns raised by the residents or their families? Number three, can you explain how you safeguard residents from abuse and neglect? Number four, what measures do you have in place to ensure resident safety and well-being? How do you ensure resident safety and well-being? Number five, how do you monitor and evaluate the quality of care you provide for the resident? Number six, can you describe how you support the resident's physical and mental health needs? Number seven, what steps do you take to ensure that the residents you care for, that the residents' privacy and dignity are respected? Number eight, how do you ensure that you are competent to deliver high quality care? Number nine, can you provide examples of how you engage with the residents and their families? Number 10, can you tell us the process for managing and learning from incidents, errors, and near miss? It's a whole lot. Maybe this person went for senior care assistant or team leader, I would say. Yeah. But you know, the questions are not difficult that you cannot answer it and pass and get the job. You can. Yes, you can. So let's get started. Let's start providing answers to this. Can you describe how you ensure that residents receive person-centered care? For you to answer this question, you have to mention, using personalized care plan. You have to mention involving the resident in decision making. You have to mention respecting their preferences, their values, and their needs. So how do you ensure that? Can you describe how to make sure that the resident receive person-centered care? What is person-centered care? To start with, because if you can be able to understand what person-centered care is, you can be able to find your way around it. Person-centered care is the type of care you provide for a resident or to a resident according to their care plan, according to their needs, according to how they want the care to be provided for them. So long it's not against the law, so long it is still within their care plan, you provide it for them. That is person-centered care. I understand that sometimes people provide care out of emotions, sympathy. Sympathy. They might expect you to do the same. When you don't, they will say it, oh, she's not doing the job. Oh, he's not doing the job. No, you are doing the job. And you are doing it in line with what the care plan says. You've not done anything wrong. Everybody will not go overboard. Yeah? So long you are offering this care accordingly in line with the person's care plan. If you want to do extra and you do it right, you don't have any problem. Nobody's going to say anything to you. But when you do it and you want to go overboard and you do it wrong, somebody's going to say something to you. So to be on a safer side, please follow the resident care plan. That is person-centered care. So how do you ensure it? Number one, to ensure it, you have to listen to the resident. Listen to them, communicate with them, to find out their likes, their dislikes, what is important to them. Some of them can still communicate. Some of them can still say, I like football. When you go to their room, put football channel for them. Some of them can still say, I love to go to the garden. take them to the garden. Some of them can say, I like cornflakes, I like Weetabix, I like this. Give them that thing they want. How do you know what they like and what they don't like if you don't communicate or listen to them? So to ensure that you are giving or that they receive person-centered care, you listen to them attentively. Listen to the resident to understand or to learn about their likes, their dislikes, and things that are important to them. Second one, making special plan for each resident. What do I mean? When you have learned about something, you put it into practice. In my care home, I learned when I went through one of my resident care plan, I found out she likes her hair to be folded up, fold up this way. She's got dementia. She don't even know whether you did it or not. But each time I attend to that woman, I make sure I comb her hair up and fold it for her because it is in her care plan. I like my hair, donuts, make a ball here. That is giving person-centered care. The next one, you help the resident to make choices. You let them, helping them, not making decision for them. No. When, for instance, it is time for breakfast, okay, you did not just bring cornflakes and milk to a resident. No. Okay, Mr. A, we've got cornflakes, Weetabix, toast, porridge. What do you want? Which one do you like? Okay, do you like this? Do you like that? You are helping them and they will make their choice. And when they make their choice, you respect it, you give it to them. I understand that sometimes, due to time factor, we don't really put these things into practice. Sometimes due to time factor. But this is what person-centered care means. This is what it means. You have to answer it during interview. When you get into the field, you readjust. Every day in care setting, it is not the same. Every day is not the same. There are days you come, you're so peaceful, you do things the way you should do it. There are some days you come, it becomes so busy, you just have to carry along, just have to continue doing the job. Okay, but what I said now is what it should be. That is ensuring that the residents receive person-centered care. The next one is respecting their wishes, which I've just said. Anything they say, so long it's safe. Do not go and open window for a resident to jump out and say because this is what it is, person-centered care, they want it, so you open window for them to jump out. No. Or they want tea because so long is safe for them, respect that wish. Okay, keep checking if they are happy. When you care for somebody, are you okay? You just ask. You don't necessarily need to do anything. If the person is unhappy, what do? Nothing. You document. She says she's unhappy. You can't do nothing about it, yeah? But you are doing what is called, giving what is called person-centered care. Also, work with their family and friends, their relative. You talk to them, communicate with them. You can also get from them what their person wants or likes. Because some of them, because they've got dementia or because as a result of one sickness or the other, they are not able to communicate. They lack that capacity to say, this is what I like. You can hear from the family members. How do you do that where you don't communicate? It is when you communicate that you can understand and you offer it to them. Okay, also adjusting to changes. When the care plan changes, you adjust. Okay, because there are some residents, maybe at some point they need just one assistant of one person. As time goes on, maybe something happened and they need assistant of two. Do not continue to do the person one, go in twos. So that is how to give person-centered care. We move to the next one, which is how do you respond or manage resident complaint or the concern raised by the family members. Whenever a resident raises a complaint or a concern, or the resident family complain to you as a carer about what she don't like or what she observed, what do you do? How do you handle such situation? An interview question. So this is what you do. First of all, you have to listen carefully to what that resident or the resident family is saying. You have to listen to their complaint very well to understand what they are saying. And after that, you have to apologize by saying, okay, I can see why that made you upset, or we are sorry about that. I'm going to pass it on to the management or to the person in charge, and we will surely find a solution to this and we'll get back to you. Okay, so if you are already working in a care home, what is the procedure? What does the policy says about complaint? I don't know what your policy says, so it's good to know what the policy says. But this is an interview. When they ask you this question, they are expecting you to tell them how you handle it, because complaint will come, concerns will come. So what do? You listen attentively, carefully, to understand what the complaint is all about, and you have to say sorry. You have to apologize. We've seen why you are not happy about this, and after that you have to report it to the management, to the manager, your supervisor, whoever that is in charge, and you have to document it. It all depends, like I said. What does your policy says? How do you do it? Report, document. What do you do? Send email. I don't know how you do it, but these three things are what you can do. And profile solution, and you give feedback. You check for feedback. Okay, I will give you an example. You have a resident in your care home or a patient, and their family said, my mom always complain of having cold breakfast. Can you please do something about it? Oh, we are sorry about that. We'll surely do something about it, and I will let other staff know. It depends on what the complaint is. Know your job limit, so you don't go and promise what the management can never promise. Okay, don't go and promise what the management can never promise. So that is how to go about it. Listen carefully, understand what the complaint is all about, apologize, report to the management or document, it depends, and do something about that. So when this person have complained, mommy is complaining about giving cold breakfast, what do? You start making it warm. What makes it? You have to find solution. What makes her food get cold? Is it that when you serve her food, she don't eat it until it gets cold? Or is it from your side that the food gets cold before you bring it to her? Or you have to do something and start giving the person warm food. And later you have to check for feedback. If the resident, okay, are you happy now? Do you still receive cold food or cold breakfast? They have to tell you, oh no, everything is okay now, and that is it. Same thing with the resident family. Anytime they comes around, okay, your mommy or your daddy said this, we've done something, is she happy now? Always check for feedback, but please follow your company policy. But this is an interview. You have to just tell them how you do it. But when you answer this type of question, please somehow chip in that you follow your company policy on how to do that thing. Okay, so the next one we have is, can you explain how you safeguard residents from abuse and neglect? Like I said before, there is no way you will go for healthcare interview and you will not be asked safeguarding. It is something you can never escape from. How do you safeguard these people, these vulnerable people you care for? Tell us how you will safeguard them from abuse and neglect. How do you safeguard them? So this is how to answer the question. First of all, you have to pay attention to the residents you care for. You have to listen to them. Pay attention. If they tell you something is wrong, or they tell you that somebody is doing something to them, you have to believe them. You don't have to decide. You have to believe them. Then you have to follow the rules or the policy of your home and report it to the right person, so that something could be done. Something can be done, rather. Then, do you know the signs of abuse? If you don't know, You will let me know in the comment section. I'm going to tell you signs of abuse. So you always, if you know the signs of abuse, for instance, unexplained injury on the body, you know, when a staff is coming or somebody is coming around, maybe their family member or a resident is coming closer to another resident, they are becoming scared. They are trying to hide away that something is wrong. That is sign of abuse. You have to do something about that. You have to watch for the change in their mood. You have to watch for the change in their behavior or change in their health. You know, it could be anything. You have to watch out for signs of abuse, and please report to the right person when you see such, following the rules of your home. Remember, confidentiality is not everybody should have every information, so follow the rule. You have to speak up whenever something is going wrong. Speak up to the right person and not to the wrong person. Okay, so how do you safeguard them? I make sure I pay attention to my residents. I listen to their complaint. If anybody have said that something is going on, or I will have to report it to the management or whoever that is in charge, following the rules. I also know the signs of abuse, so I look out for it when there is changes in their behavior, or when they see staff or their fellow residents, because it's not only a staff can abuse them. It could be the resident. Maybe when everyone is, they can, maybe resident A is beating resident B. It is possible. And whenever resident B sees resident A, she tries to hide or he tries to run away. There could be something like that going on. So if you notice anything like that, you can only notice it when you know the signs of abuse. You have to speak up. Maybe they could be their home, or the person in charge could maybe need to swap them. Maybe this person is on the ground floor, and if they notice something like that, they might need to take the person to next unit, or the management knows the best way to do. But your duty is to speak up when you notice anything like that. Okay, so we have the third question that says, what measures do you have in place to ensure resident safety and well-being? What measures do you have in place? So when you care for these residents, you have to ensure their safety and their well-being. How do you do that? Number one is to follow the care plan. Whatever thing you are doing, you have to follow the resident care plan. What does the care plan say? It comes down to what they eat, what they wear, what they put on their body, their medication, their activities. Everything is in the care plan. So you have to follow. If the care plan says this person can only eat puree, something that is light, you don't give the person a strong or solid food. By so doing, you are ensuring their safety and well-being, because when you give that person what they should not have, there will be problem. You are no longer ensuring the safety or the well-being. Now, you will also have to watch out for changes. You have to notice if the resident feels unwell, if the resident is upset. You have to notice. When you notice anything of that nature, you have to tell your supervisor or the management about it. You also have to help them with their daily activities. Personal care, feeding, assisting them to engage in activities and all that. You're ensuring their safety, their well-being. Because if somebody is not able to walk and you are leaving them to sit down 24/7, if you are not trying to help walk them around, no matter how little, you are just trying to do everything for them, you are not helping them. There are sometimes you help them walk in a way that, okay, can we move from here to here? Okay, let's try it. Let's move from here to. You're not trying to, carry them. They will not do anything anymore. You're not ensuring that person's safety and well-being. Also, making the environment safe. This is very, very necessary. Making the environment safe. Making sure that there is no water on the floor that will make them to slip and fall down. You make sure that maybe their hoist or the Zimmer frame they are using, or Sarah Steady, you make sure that the check time is still in order. You make sure that if they said they need to check it again on the 3rd of January. After 3rd of January, if they have not checked it again and certified okay, please don't use it. You are just ensuring the resident safety, because if you use it when the time they have checked it is outdated and something goes wrong, you'll be held responsible for that. So you make sure that the environment is conducive. Talking about the environment, let's go into their room. Their side bed, the side cupboard, is it too close to their bed that if anything, maybe by any chance they fall out from the bed, are they going to hit their head by the side cupboard or wardrobe? Are they going to, do they need any floor bed, closer to their own, that if for any reason they roll out of the bed, they don't have to hit their head on the floor? Do they have floor mats? Things to put in place to ensure their safety. Put it in place. Okay, maybe if this person wants to get up and go to the toilet, they need floor mat, a sensor mat, that when they put their legs on it, it will start beeping, and the staff will know, oh, this person is out of the bed, we need to rush now. Because if you don't have the floor mat, how would you know they stood up from the bed? They can try to go to the toilet and they will fall. Remember, sometimes they feel they can still do these things, forgetting that they can no longer do it, that they need help, or they are human beings. All right. Also, the type of food you give them, you make sure that this is the type of food they are supposed to eat, so they don't get choked. Okay. Also, making sure that they engage in activities. Take them to interact with each other, engage in activities. I'm just explaining all these things. There are ways to ensure that the resident safety and well-being is being maintained. So in the interview room, can you tell us how you ensure the resident safety and well-being? Yes, I follow their care plan to care for them. Whatever thing the care plan says, that is what I do. Okay, I also make sure I help them to engage in activities, coming together to engage in activities. I also make sure that the environment is very conducive and safe. I check their room, carry out a risk assessment, make sure that they don't have anything like wires on the floor, or the wardrobe being or side bed being so close to the bed that when they fall down they hit their head on it. I make sure that if these residents have been assigned or the care plan said they need to use floor mat, sensor mat, I make sure that the sensor mat is there, fixed and working. If they need floor bed, I make sure the floor bed is there, and I put the bed very low so they don't fall down and hit their head. I make sure there's no water on the floor, that when they walk on it they slip and fall. I make sure that the hoist I'm using, or the Sarah Steady, or the Zimmer frame they are using to walk, to make a movement, is always serviced and in order and not out of order. These are ways I ensure that the residents are safe and their well-being are being maintained. If you like what we are doing, please do not forget to subscribe before you leave. The more you subscribe, the more we make more videos for you. Okay, thank you. So see you in my next video. We're gonna talk about the remaining questions.